Okay, so you want to like observe things. Shantia says there's nothing really going on, so I'm gonna have to really look for some trouble here. My back's a little tight. That is definitely off script. I hope that's not what we're showing today. Oh, okay. We got some fun stuff here. Okay. So. Sorry. Yeah, so you see about table height? I mean, look, my hands just go right here. Like, I don't want to be like this. Because when I'm like this, look at my neck. That's what happens. Why would I want that? Why would I want that? My chops are big enough, please. I want to like things to be supple, long, relaxed, and do it all day. Let's see. Yeah, left side is definitely tighter than the right. Are you?
It feels tight now that you mentioned it.
Yeah, like are you left-handed? What's going on here?
I'm right-handed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you carry a bag on the left side?
Yes.
And do you sleep on your left side?
Sometimes.
Gotcha. But carrying the bag on the left side is probably our main culprit. Okay, cool. So, like I said, we always kind of like start outward and we work our way up. Your wrist is actually pretty good, so maybe that's not part of the issue. Love that. Forearm hagger, that's a different story altogether. Yep. That's right. So I'm going to sink in right into that interosseous membrane. You guys know what that is? The space in between the radius and the ulna. We'll talk more about that a little later in the semester. A lot of like magic that can be had there. Of course, you've got your pronator teres and pronator quadratus, and basically if there's any issue that's getting in the way of your ability to pronate or supinate, it's going to affect your ability to look at my shoulder, to laterally and internally and externally rotate my shoulder. You can't have one without the other. So if you just work here and you don't deal with this, it's gonna be like, well, it's still bugging me, I don't know, it's, it feels a little bit better, but maybe not much better, you want it that much better. So, yeah. All right, so sinking in here, how's pressure?
Good.
Yay, love that. Adding a little bit of vibration, and again, and because obviously we're working with clothed clients, I'm definitely going to default to it even more than normal. I definitely use it a lot, even with naked clients, but they can't really stroke. It's not a lot of effleurage going on right here. So, great, love that. This is a little looser. Testing elbow range of motion. Great, love that. So, scapulohumeral rhythm. Do you have any towels here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, here too.
Mm-hmm. Can you just hold that right there?
Well, they think they're under there.
Yeah, just like roll them up. Great. So, yeah, I'll get one, you get the other. So, I'll hook you up, Shanti. All right, so I hope I'm not speaking out of turn here, but we're gonna put that under your shoulder. The client is on the posterior side. Then you want to get support for the shoulders because it helps to line everything up, and it really is going to create a lot more comfort. It's a lot easier to treat at that point. Otherwise, everything gets kind of thrown out of alignment. So you're working on it, but it's also being messed up at the same time. So I'm going to bring your face cut a little bit higher too. So, how's that?
It's good.
Right? So it's a little quick tip for like if you're busting and receiving, ask for the support. If you're working on a bust your client, do the thing. It's a good thing. So, so now I have a lot more access. You feel I have more access now to your shoulder blade?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's all about me. but Shantia feels great, so everybody wins. So I'm gonna sink in here and get right into your subscapularis and your serratus posterior superior. So I'm vibrating at the same rate that I was when I was working on Melody's thigh. However, just because of the way it's structured, I have to kind of really squeeze in there. It's going to look a little more jittery. I don't know if it's clean of a shot, but as I start to work my way in, you'll see that it changes. Even though I'm doing the exact same thing, and it's just the body's changing around me. Good. Okay, checking the rhythm. We love that. Okay, let's test some things out. So that's kind of like your stopping point for now, right? Yeah, here and here. Okay, great. So we're gonna check into your bicep and maybe your tricep as well, because that. See, when I try to put it in full flex, oh, it's already changing. Great, I love that. I'm all here for the quick results. But when we get into your triceps, you know, an elbow extensor. So if it's tight, then you know you're not gonna be able to flex your elbow very well. So we're gonna loosen that up. Bicep, like we're talking about, like tissue mass getting into way of range of motion. If it's tight, then you know you don't even need to have like bulging biceps. But if it's tight, it just doesn't move out of the way. It's gonna get in the way of your ability to move your shoulder like that. So, okay, pressure okay? Because I know I'm in there now. Good. So now I'm using a little bit of friction. I'm kind of flicking the bicep a little bit, about that rate. Cool. My eyes will close sometimes when I do these demos because I just want to focus on feeling. Like my eyes are not really serving me very much. So, there we go. So freeing up the bicep really changed things immediately in that case. However, I must stress that we're working on the forearm first. Allow that bicep release to give a much better result. Really, really, really critical. So, let's see. Oops, there we go. Okay, triceps are rocking and rolling here. How's the pressure here? Into your deltoid? Yeah, roger that. So I'm going to create a little bit of traction here to create a little more space in the joint. And then my thumb is scooping around right into that anterior deltoid. And I'm just going to be a little more gentle with my approach. So I'm using the ridge of my hand, that kind of side of my eminence, to create a little space here. But I'm focused on the traction. So like the idea of opening up the whole left side. You feel it going down the left side of your body, Shantia? Yeah. Right. So, because fascially, we want that release to really open up the shoulder. And then as that opens up the shoulder, you may find that it's a little easier to now do some work on the deltoid. Great. So come out of that, and test it again. Still a little tight. Still a little tight. Moving better, but I'm a Virgo, and
I knew it!
Are you serious?
Yeah. You Pisces or Virgo, bro?
That's the opposite end. That's the opposite end. What's the Pisces vibes?
The Pisces vibes?
No.
Pisces vibe is very good.
I mean, I got nothing against Pisces. Nothing against Pisces. Allegedly, that's supposed to be like, my whatever partner, but I have not yet. So we're gonna put a little pressure here. A little pressure here. Now my cousin is a Pisces, and I love his depth of just being in touch with emotions, artistic ability. Kind of like a quiet intensity. Yeah, all good stuff. Okay, let's see what that does for us. So I worked on the spinal, just talk about what I just did. I worked on the spinal erectors a bit to see if that would get in the way of like the shoulder blade, right? Because if any of those muscles are tight, it causes the ribs to kind of like get in the way of the shoulder blade. So we release, the ribs align themselves better, the shoulder blade moves more smoothly, because the shoulder cannot move well if the shoulder blade is not moving well. What's up? We good?
But she was getting a cramp.
Okay, okay. And yeah, look at that. We got a lot more motion. So create, yes, Isabel.
Just what, like, when I do this, it hurts here?
Yeah.
What is that about?
So-
Bicep attachment?
So actually, here's where, right, if you think about your infraspinatus, that tendon wraps around and attaches right about there. Teres minor is also not too far from that spot, so it could be one of those two rotator cuff muscles. So if we were to directly work on that, Shanti doesn't have an issue there, but if I were, let's pretend she has an issue there, right? You would go right into the belly of infraspinatus, into that infraspinatus fossa of the scapula, and you would A, release there, and B, go right to that point that you were just pointing at, the attachment point, the insertion, and release there as well. Additionally, you may want to check out teres minor, which is basically on that lateral border of the scapula, right? And you would want to like hit that up and then move slightly a little more lateral to get to that attachment point. Oops. We're almost done. I usually use the yoga blocks. And then yeah. Since it's closed, it's not a really barrier issue.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Melody. How you doing with the pressure here? Good. Okay, so let's see. And then you would test here again. I mean, she's already moving pretty well, but that should lead to a better result. Now, with that being said, oh, actually, that's way better. That's crazy. It was already pretty good. Now we're getting to like hypermobile range. All right, let's have you turn over. Thanks. Thanks. I was working on your left side. Okay, wrist. So here's a cool technique that is an adjustment, but it's totally within our realm of practice. You take the radius and the ulna, you put a little pressure on them, and you flick it. So since it doesn't adjust the spine, it's usually not a scope of practice. It's a great way to open up things in the hand and the wrist initially, especially if someone's shoulder restriction is going all the way down, right? We'll talk more about like nerve dysfunction at the shoulder, and then we'll go into like double crush or triple crush phenomenons where you could have your brachial plexus impinged and then the impingement on the radial nerve at the elbow joint, or maybe again at the wrist. So, okay, so what am I doing? I'm scooping under the scapula, so I'm right by the medial border. My thumb is going right into that empty space here, empty basin, I believe it's called in Shiatsu. So right by the scalenes. Because if the scalenes are tight, they bring the shoulder up and then it throws everything off, right? So, just kind of scooping around, getting a little release here and there. So this is a fun move that I think I'm the one that really does it. I'll teach it too, so you guys can do it too. So I'm pushing into the humeral head, and then I'm scooping as I push. So I'm pulling and pushing, pulling and pushing. You can see my forearm, right? So I'm pulling and pushing, pulling and pushing. So it's kind of like, yeah, that's the maneuver. I can do it a million times, and people generally don't find it painful. In fact, look, it's quite.
It's like cringing.
Please, it's a great, easy way to mobilize the ribs and the shoulder blade all in one shot. So, yeah, that part. Okay, we're getting some really nice external and internal rotation now. It was pretty good before, but now it's even smoother. And then I'm going to do that same maneuver I did on Melly's hip, and now I'm going to do it on Shantia's shoulder. So we start here. This might be a little intense, so you can, guide me through it. Okay, great. So here my head is in between my thumb and my ridge of my hand, right? So I am pulling up and pushing down, pulling up and pushing down, right? Because I'm creating space in the joint. So there's a line going posteriorly, and just like with the hip, laterally and inferiorly. Same rules, right? I'm adding a little vibration because it just makes everything better. That's what I've heard. And then as things start to open up, I will check to see if I can bring Shantia's arm across her body. So I use this hand to keep the elbow in full extension to maximize the leverage. So I'm sending the human head toward me, but the fingers are going away from me. How are you doing with this?
Good.
Cool. So if I just go for a regular stretch, I should get across pretty easily without any real resistance. There's a little tightness here by your anterior deltoids. I want to deal with that a little bit. So I'm just using my thumb. You can use the whole hand. Sometimes I just give a little nudge. Sometimes that works. And sometimes it just needs a little more time, muscle release. But I think that actually worked out really well for us. So there we go. Spacing the joint, reaching across, shoulder comes in toward me. If I'm getting too close to structures, I move my fingers out of the way. You know. I should come back. Okay, so cool. The last piece of that puzzle would be maybe a little bit of neck stretching. Out, they're pretty good. Checking the elevator out. Here on the left, not surprised. Drop down to my lunge. If your knees are tender, you can get like a pad for your knees if you're working slow. If you can also do it from a squat position, it's totally fine. Whatever works best for your body. Even though I have crazy arthritis, my knees are kind of bulletproof to pressure, so I tend to just hang out here.
Squatting, so
I do squat. I do squat. I do squat and deadlift. I love deadlifts. Okay. So I just kind of like test it, right? And then, go into a nice little easy upper trap stretch. So we're turning the head away, rotating it to the right to stretch the left side. We're laterally flexing it to the right, and then you can have a reflection. And then I kind of push here, so it's stretching in two directions at once. Right, so the line's going this way and that way, intentionally. And then I get into elevator, where I'm still reflecting away, where I'm turning it to the same side. I'm still adding that flexion. Come around. Test that again. It's a pretty nice movement. I can just like slide right into the yawning maneuver. If there goes some variation. To get some nice shoulder movement. Cool. I know you can feel very lopsided, but you can feel a huge difference between the left and the right. Yeah, tell the class a little bit about your experience. Thank you.